G'day team, I'm Aaron from Guesty's Adventures, and today we're going to one of Perth's four-wheel drive playgrounds, Preston Beach. So for those that don't know, Preston Beach is to the south of Mandurah, and it's one of three beaches that are commonly used for four-wheel driving. To the north, Tim's Thicket, in the middle, White Hills, and then the further south is Preston Beach. White Hills was quite popular for a long time until Forest Highway was opened up sort of 10 years ago, and as a result, those of us who come from the north a little bit end up driving down Forest Highway, and you actually avoid White Hills on the way in and you end up at Preston. As a result, Preston's become a bit more popular, but you can drive from Preston all the way along the beach and end up at White Hills. So a lot of people commonly do that. That's about 30 kilometres, and with a stop it will probably take you 2 hours to do if you have a drink or a fish halfway through. Preston Beach itself, it's about 90 kilometres south of the Rockingham area, and like I said, you just jump on the freeway and keep heading south and you'll end up at the turnoff. It's within the Yalgarup region, and Yalgarup is part of the Noongar word for a place of waters or lakes, and the region has a lot of scattered lakes within the area. The area was discovered by European explorers in about 1829 by Dr. Alexander Colley, as well as Lieutenant Preston. And they were exploring the area between Mandurah and Bunbury in that 1829 period. The beach itself is pretty common for fishermen, like it's a good area for fishing. And the common species that you do catch sort of along the lines of like the whiting, herring, tailor, and then moving into the larger species, sort of like mulloway and some shark species. Throughout the years, I've seen some monster mulloway that have been caught, like up in that sort of 17-18 kilo mark. And recently I was on the socials and I saw someone bought like a significantly large tiger shark ashore, like in that 3 meters sort of area. So there is big stuff out there. Strangely enough, I've been able to catch crabs off a fishing rod in the area, as well as shovel nose and a lot of stingrays as well. Because of these larger species, it's mainly because the beach is quite, the gradient is quite steep. So 10 meters out is probably about 5 meters deep. So it can get a bit shore dumpy at the moment, at times. And it can be a little bit dangerous to the little ones if you pick the wrong spot for them to go for a swim. So you just have to watch out for that. But we'll keep heading down the freeway and we'll see you at the car park. So now we're down at the Preston Beach car park. It's pretty straightforward, so everyone is down here. 18 PSI is the easiest sort of starting point that I use. Beach access itself, quite simple. Just the back corner over here. That's the northbound one, and there's also another one just over the corner over here, which is the southern one. So very simple once you're here. So while we're down here, a couple of things to sort of remember is the speed limit is 20 on the beach. The rangers do conduct patrols up here, and I've heard that they've started doing drone patrols as well. So it's 20 kilometers and signposted at that speed, so make sure you stick to it. It's not necessarily always enforced, but you know, going 80 kilometers an hour with tires that are, you know, 15-20 psi less than they normally are isn't the smartest thing to do. So stick to the rules and realistically don't be a dick. Otherwise, the other sort of rules that we have to adhere to are no camping is allowed on the beach. You're allowed to sort of like stay overnight and fish, and many people do, but stick out of the dunes. That's the thing that's really going to get everyone in trouble, is people doing burnouts and donuts in the dunes. And obviously at the end of the day, we want this to be open in 5-10 years so the next generation can enjoy it as much as we do. As I said, camping isn't really allowed on the beach, so there's a couple of campsites around here. So Martin's Tank is one of the more popular ones. It's just before the causeway as you come into Preston Beach itself, and that's pretty good. So it's right on the back of one of the lakes, which is Martin's Tank. And then there's some bushwalking and stuff you can do out there, fire pits, long drop toilets and all that sort of stuff. So you can kind of get that bush experience overnight and nip down early in the morning and catch the early morning fish run before the sea breeze comes in summer, which unfortunately does affect this area quite bad. So anything after sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock-ish, if it's not blowing a gale, welcome to WA. So we've been down the beach now for about half hour or so. I already got a few bites with fishing. Just a big pot of dolphins is about to go by, so stop fishing until they bugger off, so hopefully the fish come back on the bite. But at the moment, the beach is pretty good condition. So about a month ago, came down here for the first time in about 6 months, and it was still quite steep and rutted. But there's been a lot of constructive waves over the last sort of few weeks, and the beach has gotten significantly wider. So it's probably about 3 times as wide as it was. It was about that 2 to 3 car lane width. The thing you got to be careful of out here, and I'll see if you can get them, you get these little like erosion escarpments everywhere. So you can see them lining down the beach. And some of them in winter can get up to sort of like 6 foot high. So I've seen people roll cars down here. So just be careful and drive to the conditions so you don't find yourself in the situation where you drop a wheel. And if you are going to go down one of them, make sure you go down perpendicular rather than on the side, so you have more of a chance to not have a rollover. I've got some footage that I'll put up here of one of the big drop-offs that I drove down probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and that was probably about 7 or 8 foot high. It was a big one. Otherwise, yeah. Perfect day for it. We beat the wind, and obviously dolphins down here as well, which always makes the life happy. Another thing to be cognizant of as well is when you're coming here, make sure you leave no trace. So I've been coming down to this beach since I was about 13, so sort of nearly 20 years of being able to use this beach. And if you're going to bring rubbish or drink down here, just take your bottles off the beach. Both ends being White Hills and the Preston end have skip bins or just regular bins to drop all your stuff off. So keep it clean. As I said, sort of a couple of weekends ago, I came down here and the northern end was absolutely terrible. But if you do the right thing, you know, we can all enjoy this. And rather than driving 3 hours south to get on the beach to just have a bit of a fish, you know, we can just come here still and enjoy it together. So before we leave this beach and head back to the car park to air up, I hope that you enjoyed this adventure and that it gives you some motivation in the future to get out and explore our beautiful country. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll try and keep getting these videos out to you as soon as I can. Stay safe.